Hi everybody. So, question I'm getting is, where did this virus come from? Um, it seems to be have come out of nowhere, and because our scientists and doctors and nurses and other health professionals are out there on the front lines trying to track down, treat, and eradicate this thing, they don't really have a lot of time to address the public, and the public is apparently um, coming up with very, let's say, weird uh, conspiracy theories as to where this virus came from, and some people are just confused. So I'd like to go by the scientific reports and let you know that uh, that this virus came from, as you know, as you may well know, China. And it's important to know two things before I explain. It's that viruses don't have the ability to jump typically from one species to another. They will a virus in a human will typically not infect a dog. A dog's virus will typically not infect a human. Um, but sometimes the genes in that virus will mutate and then allow a virus to jump from one species to another species if that species is nearby. Okay? Which most of the time that species is not. That point brings me to Wuhan, China, and the conditions that existed in Wuhan that allowed this virus to spread. So, in the late 70s, in the 70s, China was a very poor place. You may remember people saying things like, your mother saying things to you like, "You better eat your food. There are starving children in China," right? As if that was supposed to work to make you eat broccoli or something. But um, that was that stereotype came from a very true place. Uh, the Chinese people were very poor for a time, and they and very poor people found ways to feed their families by capturing and growing uh, food uh, animals that were available to them: snakes, ducks, turtles, whatever they could find. Um, and so that's what they did. Then a market uh, was developed from that, um, and they also had a larger market that developed where things that we are typically used to eating, like pigs and cows and other meat types of meat, those things were more commercial. But a smaller market developed a uh, where smaller farmers continued to sell these more exotic foods, but they would sell them in these open air markets where um, animals were stacked on top of one another. Um, and then they were, in order to keep the food fresh, they were kept alive until they were ordered, and they were killed on the spot, and they are still killed on the spot. And that blood splatter allows viruses that would normally not be able to travel from one species to another because that species is not nearby, um, to reach other species, because a lot of different species are found in these markets. So this virus, just like the SARS virus of the early 2000s, came from a virus jumping from a bat to an animal called a pangolin to a human. Then humans were able to pass it from one amongst themselves for weeks or months before anybody knew that this virus was here. So, like the SARS virus, this spread from one of these open air markets to other parts of China, and then around the world, and this virus is more deadly than the SARS virus. So, if you have any more questions, please let me know, and I will try my best to answer them. This is just my way of trying to do my duty to inform the public, so that that you have the information that you need, so that everything is clear in your mind. All right. Take care of one another.